Let me see. Here's the very interesting thing. Actually, you're making me think of the documentary I just watched. What is a Woman? I just watched What is a Woman. I was making my wife watch it. Oh man, was it? I thought it was good. I thought it was good. I don't think it answered the question in the end, which is sad. But it was quite funny. Now, here's the thing about the human beings. Human beings, we live in 4 dimensions, yes, but we live in 2 worlds at the same time. Try to listen to what I'm saying here, okay? We live in the world of observation, the empirical world, the things you can see, you can taste, you can hear, you can touch. And then we live in the world of the psyche. We have this mind. We have this place called mind where we can't locate it, we can't grab it, we can't put it in a test tube, but we're having this direct experience of mind, okay? The materialists are saying, look, matter exists. We're saying, no, look, hold on. We never observed matter. All we observe those red, white, blue, and the shapes. The shapes are all mental, and we see this dream world. We see this world of colors, and it's all the colors and all that is all subjective. I know it's sounds a little weird. Look up idealism if you want to go further into it. But we're saying, look, where do we ever see raw matter? We never see it. It's conjuncture. Now, a famous example of this, a famous world-famous example, is the work of Kant. Kant, one of the greatest thinkers of all time, made a huge blunder once upon a time. He made a huge blunder that was only later pointed out by Hegel. We're talking about thousands of thinkers reading his material. Nobody picked it up except Hegel. Hegel pointed it out, and it was quite astonishing that he did that. Kant used to tell us that, look, there's this world out there that's causing all our experiences. You're living in a world out there. We call it Kantian's wall. There's this wall on the other side where H2O lives. On this side of the wall, it's just how we experience H2O. It goes through our senses, and the way it tickles our brains, we experience it that way. But we don't know what real H2O is raw. We're interpreting it with our senses. You're interpreting it with your senses. We don't know what H2O looks like without any interpretation. Just raw observation of H2O. So Kant says, look, there's this wall, and we can never penetrate this wall. And he was saying, look, we're always trapped behind our senses. And Hegel later on pointed out that Kant also assumed that cause and effect was mental. So what's causing our sensation is also mental. It's also trapped in the mind. Remember, I told you we live in 2 worlds, a world of the psyche and the world of the world out there, the world we observe. Think about it. You have an internal world of your mind, and then you observe the world out there around you. You see trees, houses, roads, other people, things you observe. The unobserved part of you, the invisible part, the part nobody knows but you, is your own personal psyche, which is interesting. Why I was thinking, like, the whole time when I was watching What is a Woman, nobody ever pointed out something so simple. Listen, I'm really not like, I'm not gender, I'm old school, okay? Men go in the men's bathroom, women go in the women's bathroom. And how I define a man, I say, look, empirically, all I can observe is your genitalia. Not that I want to observe anybody's genitalia out there, okay? But that's all we can observe. Your psyche, that's your business. Don't go in the in the documentary What is a Woman, there's a scene where this woman is furious. She goes to the front desk and she's yelling at the staff of a spa. She's in a spa and she's yelling at them because they allowed a man in the women's locker room, and he's exposing himself to all the women, and there are minors in that section of the spa. And the staff, you can hear them saying, well, his how do you call it? He's gender fluid or whatever. They're trying to say, look, he considers himself a woman. So the woman's like, I don't care that I see a male genitalia expletive. I see his junk, I see his junk. I don't give a shit what he says. She says, I don't care. She's cursing him. She's cursing them out. You guys condone this? And she's filming it with her phone. And they're like, yeah, well, we let him go in the bathroom because he tells us he's a woman. Anyways, lo and behold, it turns out to be a sex offender. They catch him. They arrest him. They get him out of there. You see, what these people are saying in the LGBT community, they're saying, look, psychologically, I identify as a woman. Nobody can verify. Nobody could tell you how you feel. Nobody could tell you. They're not incorrect in the sense. They're saying, look, I might have male genitalia, but in my mind, I'm this or that. One girl went in the documentary, she was saying she identifies as a wolf. She identifies as a wolf. Now, if you were to critique her, people nowadays, rewind 20, 30 years ago when I was a young kid, if you said that, you'd be put in a mental institution right away. They put you in a mental institution. That this person mentally disabled, psychotic, crazy, whatever. They're gonna label you something and they'll put you in a rubber room. Today, as an adult, these young kids are telling us this, and we have to be like, whoa, don't you dare correct her. Don't you dare criticize her. Don't you dare do this. You have to accept her as how she is. Now, in her psyche, she's saying, I feel like I'm a wolf. Who are you to tell her she's not? I can't prove she doesn't feel that way. I can't prove she does feel that way. All I go by is my observation. If you're a male and you have male genitalia, you're going in the male genitalia section. I don't care if you feel you're a woman. I don't care if that's how you define women. Okay? So think about it like this. Is Pluto a planet? Well, when I was a kid, Pluto was a planet. Today, it's not a planet. I tell my kids today, they tell me, oh, Pluto's not a planet. Oh, it's not a planet? When I was a kid, it was a planet. It was a scientific fact. However, astronomers observed other planetary bodies that are very identical to Pluto and should be even more worthy of being called a planet. So if they call Pluto a planet, now we have all these thousands and thousands of planets we need to add to our solar system. So they said, you know what? It'd be easier. Cut out Pluto. At least this is my understanding, okay? Not that I researched it in depth, but Pluto was like a dime. There are a dime a dozen of Plutos out there. But we didn't know that. We had a limited scope, and now our scope is greater. And we're like, hey, you know what? It doesn't make sense to call Pluto a planet. The consensus changed. New information came in. The consensus changed. Now, this guy, Matt Walsh, he goes to Africa to ask them what is a woman. He goes down to Africa, which I love. And he's talking to these people in the tribe, and they're like, he's like, can a man become a woman? And they're like, are you crazy? If you think that, something's wrong with you. Something's wrong with your family. You're crazy. And they asked him, well, if, a man cannot be a woman. He goes, if you go to have sex with a woman, you know where you can put it in. But if you go to have sex with a man, where are you going to put it in? Now, the African tribe was too far removed from this kind of culture. In their mind, this is insanity. In our culture here, they're making it, there's a nuance here. They're saying, look, psychologically, I feel like I'm a woman. Psychologically, I have this emotion. I have this feeling. I identify myself as this. I don't see myself as you see me. I see myself otherwise. So now what takes precedence? How you feel mentally or how you look physically? It comes down to empiricism. Matt Walsh, the guy in What is a Woman? He's an empiricist. If you're a woman, show me your organs. That's how you prove you're a woman. I need to see it, hear it. I don't want to say taste it, guys. It's you know what I mean. The five senses here. He needs an empirical data for any argument you give him. Psyche, that's off the table because I cannot observe it. It's true. We believe psyche exists because each one have a psyche. We all have a psyche. However, since we cannot observe it in any way empirically, using the senses, that's your business. We're going to weigh what we can measure. That's it. That should be the end of the argument. If you have male genitalia, guess which bathroom you're going into. Because I'll tell you guys something. If a man went into the bathroom, a woman's bathroom, and I'm there, it's going to be a problem. I'm going to go physically remove him. Especially if my children or my wife or something. If that ever happened, guys, believe you me. And I'm not the only one. There are countless men like me out there. If you say you identify as a woman, that's your business. I don't care you identify as a woman. That's your business. Go in the men's bathroom and identify yourself on your own private time. Now, somebody sent me this article about women in jail getting pregnant. Why are these women in jail getting pregnant? Well, men are saying they identify as women. They get put into these female jails, and guess what happens? Women are pregnant. Is that a woman? How could two women get pregnant? Well, it's his psyche. Yeah, it's his psyche, but that's his business. They would never, look at the hypocrisy. They would never put a female in a male jail because she associates or identifies as a man. They would never do this. Never. Never. What would happen if a female-bodied person who identifies as a man was put into a prison? A maximum security male prison. What would happen? There's an obvious difference. Empirically, when it comes to your psyche, that's your business, guys. I have to take your word for it. I don't know what's going on inside your head. Anyways, I felt the documentary was done well, but it didn't go deep enough. It didn't scratch the surface even. It was too almost like the two sides hate each other so much. They were just like every interview was like, oh, we're ending the interview. We're ending the interview. And I think Matt Walsh did a very good job, yes. But the people who interviewed didn't. They were so hostile. I found them to be so hostile and defensive. And I get it. They're probably like feeling very attacked all the time. You know, it's a community that's very touchy. However, he never at the end of the documentary asks his wife, he says, maybe I should ask my wife. Okay, Jordan Peterson tells him, because he keeps asking people, what is a woman? What is a woman? And nobody can answer him. And then he asks Jordan Peterson at the end of the movie, what is a woman? He's like, you should go home and ask your wife. So he does. What does his wife say at the end of the movie? She says, I think it was something along the lines of biological female body or something like that. Again, empiricism. Matt Walsh is stuck on the fact that he has to observe it. There are things we cannot observe, like your psyche. We cannot observe it. They're saying, look, our psyche is this or that. Our psyche is different than how you observe my body. I think the proper response is, okay, that's your business. Keep it on your end. Keep it in your psyche then. Don't come here and change things in the empirical world. I don't want to have to take your word for it. You understand? How many men tomorrow, if we tell them, hey guys, if you identify as a woman, you can go in the women's locker room. If I was a teenager, guys, when I was a teenager, if you told me I could do that, I'd be in the women's locker room all the time. Like I was a young kid. I was out of control. My hormones were going crazy. All me and all my friends would have said, yeah, we identify as women. We would have done whatever it takes to go in the women's locker room. It's getting insane. It's getting insane. So anyways, I thought the documentary was really well worth it. I thought it was pretty funny. There's a lot of madness. I mean, at one point, Matt Walsh asks one of the people he's interviewing, he says, look, what if I identify as a black man? Now that's pretty touchy. You want to say to people that you're black, but he's obviously white. He's Caucasian. Now the whites come from a particular history and the blacks come from a particular history. Now you want to say that you suffered from the same history that the blacks did? That would be very insulting to black people. Now, the guy, the leftist guy, the guy who's saying that your psyche is whatever you identify, he's been between a rock and a hard place now. He's like, look, if I say yes, now I'm insulting black people. And if I say no, I'm saying that you can't decide how you feel. Instead of answering, the guy just started first started saying, oh, are you biracial? Maybe you have some black genetics in you. Maybe your great-grandfather was black, perhaps. He was trying to pick and poke at, is there any physical? He went immediately to Matt Walsh's position that you need empirical data. It's not okay if you're a white man to say that you feel like a black man. But the leftist, he didn't want to admit it. And I found that Matt Walsh did a good job pinning him there, but he didn't press it enough. I think he should have pressed it more. He said, look, if I identify as a black man, is that insulting? Or is this how I feel? I don't think it's appropriate to say that. And I think the leftist knew it, but he just started saying, hey, well, maybe you have a great-grandfather that's black. He was trying to get out of it. Actually, the guy ended the interview. Actually, a lot of the people in that video ended the interview. Matt Walsh had some good questions. But what I didn't like is he dismissed the element of the psyche. The psyche is also very important. There are people out there whose psyche might not match their physical body. The scary thing is it's becoming more and more popular. I think it's becoming trendy. That's what I think it is. I think it's becoming trendy. Young kids who are very impressionable, watching superstars on the internet and their Instagram and this and that. Oh, I can get more likes if I were to do this or that. And they're falling into that trap.